Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Cormandy from the YouTube channel Meyer Gun Reviews, and today we're going to look at a gun that I reviewed 3.5 years ago. You would think the gun would have had more use, but in 3.5 years I have shot this gun less than 1,000 rounds, but that's more than enough to find out how the gun is going to react with use. My initial crony test when the gun was new, the gun developed 30.28 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. That was shooting a match wad cutter type pellet that you would not use for hunting. And the pellet that was the most accurate was the H&N Field Target 16.36 grain. And that pellet developed 29.22 foot-pounds muzzle energy. So it's been a very accurate pellet and a very good pellet. And I re-cronied it with a lot of different pellets that I didn't get to use in the first round. The first one was the RWS Hypermax, which I did not have any of. All I had was the Alloy Crossman SSPs, which they shoot all over the place and very inconsistent. But with the RWS Hypermax 9.9 grains, this gun shot them at a low of 1,185 feet per second, a high of 1,196 feet per second, an average of 1,191 feet per second. Extreme spread was only 10.31 and a standard deviation of 5.47. That had an average muzzle energy of 31.19 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, and the fastest shot actually recorded 31.45 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. And for lead pellets, the H&N Terminator, which is the same weight as the H&N Field Target, 16.36 grain, that had a low of 903 feet per second, a high of 907.2 feet per second, an average of 904.8 feet per second. That is only a 4.13 foot per second extreme spread, a standard deviation of only 2 feet per second, generating an average of 29.75 foot-pounds muzzle energy. And the fastest shot recorded 29.91 foot-pounds muzzle energy. That is very impressive for a lead hunting pellet. That's getting close to PCP power range. And it shot most of the pellets fairly well. So let's take a look at those crony numbers. Okay, this gun has really good power, really good accuracy. And the only problem that I ever developed was just recently, and it was user error. Let's take a quick look at that. Okay, if you look, you can see a crack in that plastic guide right there, and in here this piece broke up just a little bit more. That came from shooting this gun with the front screw being loose. Okay, so the screw holding this peg was loose, so this peg was walking up. The screw on this peg was tight, and so the actual cheek rest rose up and came off of this peg, so this peg came out of the cheek rest. And what I did was I pounded them both back in so they were firmly snug, and I did put it back in and I tightened them up, and they tightened up pretty good, and I have not had a problem with it since. But that's one thing you will have to look at on this gun, is make sure you keep your adjustable cheek rest screws tight. Only the one came loose, and I think that was worse than both of them coming loose. But the gun has such a violent recoil that when this thing came loose and it started moving around, it did crack those plastic guides. Anyway, this is about where I keep it, and it is very firm in there, so no problem. But Hatsan might want to look at making those shims in there out of a little bit more durable material. Okay, so if you do your job and take care of the rifle and keep everything tight, never had any problem with the stock mounting screws coming loose. They've, periodically checked them. They've all remained tight. It's just these cheek rest screws will come loose. You gotta tighten them. Okay. For the scope that comes on the rifle from the factory, it's a 3 to 9 by 32 millimeter scope. It's an okay scope, but this gun deserves a lot more. Since day one, I've been using this Centerpoint 4 to 16 by 40 millimeter illuminated Mildoc reticle adjustable objective scope, and I really do like this scope. It's a very good scope, and it did very good during every target shoot I've ever done. Okay, it's this gun requires its own style of hold. It's not like your lightweight Magnum Springers, and it is definitely different than like the Hatsan 135 Carnivore Quiet Energy Vortex. And both guns have a lot of recoil to them, and this one, it's a very accurate gun, and the more you pay attention to your hold style and trigger use, the more accurate the gun becomes. Let's take a look at the original accuracy test with this when the gun was new, shooting the H&N field targets. Okay, the gun was very accurate. Initially, when I first got the gun, the Crossman Premier hollow points didn't shoot worth a darn out of this thing. But I did a 3-gun test just a few months ago to see which one would shoot the Crossman hollow points the best. And this gun was actually the winner out of a Gamo and a Crossman Benjamin and this Hatsan. This was the most accurate. So let's take a look at that accuracy test from just a few months ago. Okay, now my most recent target shoot with this one on camera was when I reviewed the H&N Terminator pellet, and I got a really good first group, and my very first shot on the second group, I pulled the trigger pretty quickly when I got the crosshairs perfect on the reticle, and that caused me to jerk the shot high left. And so I just made special attention to have my hold right and to squeeze the trigger, and you will see how accurate those last 4 shots were on that target shoot. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so this rifle, as powerful as it is deadly accurate, and it really develops the muzzle energy. I mean, 29.75 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, you can kill a coyote with that. It's a really good hunting gun. I don't recommend it for target shooting, so to speak, because it does take a pretty good effort to cock, but I measured it at 51.5 pounds of cocking effort when it was new, and I think it's still pretty close to that right now. I can cock the gun with one hand, even though, you know, I don't have full use of this right hand yet, but I can still cock this gun with my right hand, which is good. And I absolutely love it. It's the only gun that I have kept from, you know, like 2012, 2013 when I started doing reviews. I just really enjoy it. You know, the inlays on the forearm are comfortable, and the stock is like perfect shape, the adjustable cheek rest. I just absolutely love shooting this gun, and my plan is to keep this gun for a long, long time, and it's the best money I ever spent. The gun sold new back then for $259.95. It sells new today for $259.99. The price has not changed in 3.5 years, and I think that really makes it a cheaper gun today than it was back then. It's a very good investment. Like I say, this is the spring piston version, not the vortex version, and it's withstood nearly 1,000 shots and has not lost 1 ounce of energy, and it has only gotten more accurate. It's just a terrific gun, and you cannot go wrong by buying this one. So that's my review of a 3.5-year-old Hatsan 125 Sniper 22 caliber. My name is Kenny Cormandy, and thank you for watching.